Government can be a hard class. Luckily, we have a survival guide to help you through it.
The largest part of the class is spent learning about the U.S. Constitution. The Constitution has three main functions, and you'll be happy in the end if you remember these parts.
First, it creates a national government consisting of a legislative, an executive, and a judicial branch, with a system of checks and balances among the three branches. Secondly, it divides power between the states and the federal government. And lastly, it sets out freedoms for its citizens.
For example, you'll learn about the 26th Amendment, the amendment that changed the national voting age from 21 to 18 during the Vietnam War.
In government, you'll also learn about federalism, which is a system in which the government is split up into powers. You have the state and national governments, and they have some separate powers, but also have some shared powers.
The national government can declare war, but the states cannot. The states can establish schools and run educational standards. Also, both types of government can mandate taxes.
Also, each state has its own constitution. In government, you'll learn about the Ohio Constitution and its many parts. It is similar to the federal constitution, so pay attention during that unit.
Another important topic to pay attention to within the Constitution is its three branches of government: the executive, legislative, and judicial.
The legislative is made up of the House of Representatives and Senate. It's like the powerhouse of the government, aka the mitochondria of the government. The House is made up of 435 representatives, and the Senate has 100 representatives. The legislative's job in general is to create laws.
The executive branch is comprised of the president and the cabinet. The president serves for 4 years and for a maximum of 2 terms. The president is in charge of appointing cabinet members and enforcing the U.S. laws.
Lastly, the judicial branch of the government interprets the laws of the Constitution. It can change some laws through judicial review. The judicial branch is made up of 9 justices who are nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate.
The ways the branches of government can keep each other in line is through checks and balances. The president can veto laws created by Congress, and Congress can override the veto with 2/3 vote of both houses.
In class, you also learn about how governments came to be, like the characteristics and origins. The 4 main characteristics are population, territory, popular sovereignty, and government.
The characteristics of population is when a government or people come together, regardless of the size, to form a state. Also, the group must have known and recognized boundaries for territory.
Popular sovereignty is when states are in complete control of all people and property in their territory. Government, in the last characteristic of the state, it shares the political power with the federal government.
The origins of government is also a biggie: divine right and social contract, evolutionary, and force. The force theory is when a person or a group of people use a physical force to control another group of people. Lastly, the evolutionary theory is that a family member leads the group and power is based down to generation.
Divine right is the idea that God created the states and assigns prophets to lead. Social contract is when people have an understanding with the government and then give up some individual rights so that the government can protect them.
Speaking of social contract, the American government came to be because of the influences from John Locke and his ideas of life, liberty, and property. There were also influences from the Magna Carta and the English Bill of Rights. The U.S. Constitution shares rights attached to the Constitution is based off of the English Bill of Rights and helps guarantee rights of the accused and free elections.
Because of the Magna Carta and U.S. Constitution, we have a democracy and a president as our leader. During U.S. government, you'll also learn about the election process. As a class, we are fortunate to learn about the election process during the 2016 election.
Candidates announce their candidacy and debates begin to take place. Then states hold primaries and caucuses, and candidates drop out or gain more delegate votes. In the summer of the election year, the GOP and Democrats hold conventions that's where the presidential candidate for the party is nominated. Then in November, the nation uses electoral college process to elect the President of the United States, and in January they are inaugurated in.
A major part of the election process is choosing a candidate that represents all of America. For the most part, the nation is divided into Democrats and Republicans. The majority Democrats believed in tax cuts for middle and low income families, but believe they should be higher on corporations and wealthy individuals. They are also more progressive in social views.
To contradict, the Republicans are more conservative in social views such as gay marriage and abortion. They also believe there should be tax cuts for everyone, both the corporations and people of all income levels. However, every candidate is different, and it's up to America to pick the right one for the job.
Towards the end of the year, we learn about financial literacy in government. One important aspect of financial literacy is monetary policy. Monetary policy is where the Federal Reserve controls the supply of money, often targeting an interest or inflation rate to ensure price stability. The other aspect of financial literacy is fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is where the government monitors its spending levels and tax rates to have a stable economy.
You really need to pay attention to this so you don't end up broke living with your parents as a 30-year-old. At the end of the year, you'll do a financial lit project to make sure you're prepared for the real world economy, not just your parents' wallet.
So all in all, pay attention in your government class because these important topics will shape your life.